Hello, everyone. Hello. Um, I would like to talk about my traveling experiences. Some of you know that I'm a traveler, so I'd like to share my traveling experiences with you. Maybe one day you'll go to these countries and you will have the different, maybe, traveling experiences, but I'm just loading this so that we learn. Yes, so that we learn. These are my gel nails. I've done them. We're going to a week now in them. So I've got a video saying doing gel at home. Just check it. Where I'm empowering people on how to do gel nails at home. Um, those who know me will know that I'm a traveler. So I've been to America, I've been to China, I've been to USA, I've been to Chicago, I've been to London, I've been to China, I've been to Egypt, I've been to Qatar, although I stopped at the airport. I've been to Ethiopia, although I've stopped at the airport. I've been to Ireland. I also stopped at the airport. Those were the transits. So I stayed in Egypt for a year. I was a visitor in China. I was a visitor in America. I also stayed in Scotland, 2018 and 2019. But I'd like to share my experiences traveling to China. First, I'm a South African, and I live in one of the provinces in South Africa called the Eastern Cape. So even when I was doing the visa to China, I needed to travel to Pretoria. But even when I arrived in Pretoria, it turned out that it's done in Sandton, and my time was limited. I was going to visit China soon, so I needed to do it ASAP, as soon as possible. So I took a meter taxi from Pretoria to Sandton to do it. Okay, the process, the people were helpful, and in my experiences of applying for the visa, they were trying to meet me halfway, to an extent that my visa was couriered to me. So they were helpful, because some people are not that helpful. In some visa application processes, I had to find accommodation, maybe in Cape Town, waiting for my visa, something like that. So I applied for it, then I paid for courier services, then my visa was done within 5 days, and I was ready to travel to China. Traveling to China was not a bad experience. From South Africa to China, I took a plane from East London to Joburg. Then when I arrived in Johannesburg, I took Emirates to China, but I needed to transit in I transit my transit was in Dubai. Then I took a plane to China. The plane would have been comfortable, except for the women who were coming from North Africa, who were noisy, but it's fine. But it was for the first time that I'm in a plane where women I know are noisy, like being bullies, and they were not called into order. Okay, so we arrived in China, Guangzhou, at night. I was going for shopping, because those who know me will know that I'm selling clothes. So, arriving in China at night, we needed now to do the airport processes, the airport check-ins, us being verified before we enter the country, the new country. It happens in every country. You have to be verified at the airport when you enter the new country, by the way. So after doing all that process, as we were standing in the queue, going through to be checked, maybe our passports and everything, I picked up one of the South African languages. Remember, in South Africa we have 11 languages, so I picked up one of the languages. Then I knew that this person was from South Africa. Then I went to the ladies who were talking. There were about three ladies. I think they were traveling as a group. Then I'm telling them that I'm coming to China to buy clothes and I'm alone. Could I walk with them? Probably walk with them. Although they didn't seem friendly, they agreed, which was fine for me. One thing that I didn't know when I was making that appointment with them was that my phone will die in China. In fact, as a traveler, I know that phones die in other countries, but with the improvements on WhatsApp, etc., we get back our numbers, you know. So we split at the airport. I take a meter taxi or a bus. There's a bus, there's a meter taxi. I can't remember. Oh, it seems as if I took a bus. But because you are going to Guangzhou, you had to change somewhere and take a meter taxi. You are told, because you ask how to go to Guangzhou, then you are told that this ticket will stop at this place, then you will take a meter taxi from here to Guangzhou. Then I arrive in Guangzhou at night in a hotel, and I'm allowed to check in. My first experience of the hotel where I checked in is that I didn't see it at night. Sometimes you choose it because it's affordable, but you don't know what will be the experiences when you are there. So I arrive. You don't see anything when you are tired. You've been traveling for more than 20 kilometers, 20 more than 20,000 kilometers, so you are tired, you just sleep. But on the next day, I pick up that the windows could not open. They made nice things like, I will call them wallpapers in the windows. You could see maybe nice trees, things like the beaches, but the windows could not open. I couldn't suffocate myself uh, that way. So I went to the reception and I asked for my hotel room to be changed and to a room that can open windows because I didn't want to see those pictures. I wanted some air. And another experience of China is that it is so hot, extremely hot. So I wasn't gonna lock myself in a room like that. Okay, then I was changed to a normal room. The sheets are white, the sheets are clean, which is fine. My first experience in China was that one, something that I should have known was that um, you might wash your face, ne? But if maybe you had makeup and you make the white sheets dirty, it's either you pay for the sheet or you wash it. I was told, and of course, I retaliated because in South Africa, I've slept in so many hotels and there would be makeup in the pillows, but I was never told to wash it. But instead of saying I'll pay for the sheets, I said, fine, I'll go look for the soap and I'll wash your sheets and take the stains off. I can do that. I'm an African, I'm used to hard work. I did it. The next thing was that now I had to go and look for the factory shops because I think I was there for only 5 days. So I didn't have the courtesy of sleeping and rest in another country. No, because my days were limited. I needed to get to those factory shops and get what I went to buy and come back. Another lesson is try and make your research while you are in South Africa, a lot of research, because I trusted then the list, ne, of the shops that I was given by a friend, but I should have made more research also to people who've been to China and asked more, which I didn't do. I was careless on this. It's where someone who's regular on China was on going to China was a close friend, but it was me thinking I can do all things on my own that made me not to ask her, and it hit me hardly that I didn't tell her, which is another lesson. Ask everybody, you know. So when I asked at the hotel reception about these shops, they didn't know, because one other issue for me was their limited understanding of English. The Chinese cannot speak English, which is a problem to the foreigners who arrive in that country, because we are English speaking and we come there on business. So, but if they cannot speak English, we are going to have a problem. So, Chinese do not understand English, do not speak English. So I didn't book breakfast in the same hotel. I only booked dinner. So I walked looking for a restaurant where I can get breakfast. Another thing I wanted to do was to check the kind of foods that they have. Some people eat frogs, but I don't eat frogs. So I needed to know the kind of a food before I book myself for any breakfast anywhere. So I looked and looked and looked until I found a restaurant which had foods that were familiar to me, and the only thing that was familiar, by the way, was the eggs and vegetables. So I ordered that breakfast with eggs and vegetables and a black tea. I don't remember getting coffee in that restaurant, but at least I can take black tea anywhere. So I ordered black tea. Again, language was the problem, which is something that I should have known also before traveling to China. Another thing that I noticed was that my phone stopped working. No WhatsApp, nothing. My phone stopped working, which was a problem, because now it meant I could not even contact those ladies who seemed to know the factories and check them, maybe go with them. So I had my breakfast because I didn't eat. And then the next thing, I was looking for someone who understood English, who could maybe direct me to where the factories were. So I kept on asking, I'm not finding anybody. I kept on asking, I'm not finding anybody. It took me 45 minutes of walking to find someone who can help me. I couldn't take a meter taxi because I didn't know where I was going. Then I was walking, checking who can help me. It is so hot. It's like those places that have humidity. It's sticky hot. And I'm wearing flops. Do not wear flops in China. Rather wear sneakers. Otherwise, you will hurt yourself or injure yourself, which is something that I did, which I will talk about later. But excuse me, another lesson is do not wear flip flops in China. So at last, I saw in a restaurant through the window people who looked different from the Chinese. I went to them and I realized that they could speak English. They were students who were from Dubai but were studying there and could speak English. Then I told them my problem. In fact, I pretended to order tea. I ordered tea as an excuse so that I sit and managed to talk to them. So I talked to them and I told them my problem. Then they gave me directions to where the factories were, and they told me what will happen with my phone, where to get a new SIM card. Apparently, all SIM cards die in China. You cannot use your South African number, unlike other countries like in Scotland and in Norway. I could use my South African number. In Dubai, in all other countries, I could use my South African number, except for in China. So when they helped me, I made my way to the market. Of course, when I see a foreigner, I would ask up until I reached the market. Then the first thing I did was to buy a new SIM card. You buy a new SIM card, then once you're in China, you have a Chinese number, which is what I did. Then after that, I proceeded for shopping. Um, in China's markets in Guangzhou, there is everything. There is everything. You buy and buy and buy until you get tired. That is why you need the wisdom also of knowing where to go, what is cheaper, what is not cheaper, because you don't know the difference, but you just see beautiful things and you buy them. So I bought and bought and bought for the first day, and then I returned to the hotel. But I took a decision that while I did that, when I returned home, my phone was working but using a Chinese number. I just taught myself few words of uh, being able to words that can empower me so that I'm able to talk to the Chinese, like say see, which is thank you, and some other names, so that I'm able to communicate. Returning back to the hotel, I went to the beautiful restaurant that was there inside the hotel. and the only thing I could eat there was rice and chops and vegetables. By the way, my blood type is B plus. I'm a B plus, B positive. So I'm doing well with eating lamb and goat meat. So I ordered lamb, it was nice, and I ordered a cup of tea. I don't know if I was taking drinks, but I remember I took tea regularly. So I sat in the restaurant and I had my food, then I had a bath and I slept. It was difficult to sleep because it was extremely hot. So the next day I decided to hire a meter taxi that was in front of the hotel. I paid a lot of money, but that man was going to take me to all the shops, of course, at a price. Then I went out with him. It started to drizzle. You can imagine when it drizzles, meaning it rains, and it's too hot. And China is slippery, there are tiles. So when I was in one of the shops, I fell two times, and automatically when I fall, I balance with this hand, with my right hand. I don't know how I do that, so I balance with my um, right hand. It was because I'm wearing flip flops. That is why I say do not wear flops in China. Wear sneakers, otherwise you might hurt your back, you might break your leg. So I fell two times, and up until today, this hand hurts. Uh, ever since I fell in China. So fast forward, I got the things I wanted. I negotiated, but it was difficult to send them to South Africa up until I found a man who could help courier them. Um, I paid him, then he would send them to Johannesburg. He gives me his business card. He was honest, he sent them to Johannesburg. He advised me on how to send them. As if that was not enough payment. When I arrived in South Africa, my clothes were held in customs. I needed to pay more money for customs so that my clothes are released from Johannesburg to East London, so where I could fetch them. There were no bad people in China. Most people who are there are foreigners and the business people who are selling, and then we buy from. Okay, there were one or two who were silly. Of course, every country has its bad potatoes, because there was a man who made sexual advances on me, and when I refused, he insulted me. It's worse, he gave me his number because he was a businessman. Then he sent insults on me. Of course, I responded because I wasn't gonna let him walk all over me. I'm not his doormat. So, except for that, I felt safe in China, except for that one rotten potato. So on the day that I was departing, my clothes left Moss with that courier services. So I had my only suitcases, but I didn't know that again I've exceeded. So I headed to the airport, but at the airport, and I had limited money in Chinese. What do you call the money of the other countries? In Chinese money, I forgot. What do you call the money for the other countries? So I thought I'm going to use my card because I didn't think that at the airport I was going to buy more things. But now at the airport they were telling me that I've exceeded the luggage limit. I think which was 22 kgs times 2, and I also had a bag. So now I didn't have an extra suitcase, so I needed to take a box and put some of my clothes in a box and pay extra money at the airport for them to be transported to South Africa. No, I didn't have money. I thank God for the Chinese who was wrapping my box, because he was kind. I said I would send the money, but I never sent it because I lost touch with him, so I couldn't repay him. But it was not much money. It was that money to wrap. Here in South Africa, it's about 80 rand at the airport to wrap something. So, when I was in that situation, being frustrated of having clothes that are exceeding the allowed limit, one thing that was frustrating me are those scammers from Africa. They are all over the place like flies in the Chinese airport. You know what they do? They know you are in a desperate situation. They would come to you, pretend they want to help you. That's how they steal, and they are persistent. They are all over you. They left me alone when I lost it, and I told them that they must leave me alone. They don't give up, you know. So you also need to be careful of those people, because they will pretend to help you only to find out that they are stealing from you, because they would say, Sissy, let me take your clothes, I will send them to South Africa, pay me. Then you pay them, ne? After you pay them, they also steal your clothes, because they know we are there on business. So they would steal your clothes and steal your money. That's how they make money. And I don't know who's letting them loose in the Chinese airport. I've never seen that kind of a corruption in the airport. That was the only thing, but it was done by my own African people, not the Chinese people. uh okay, another thing that I saw that was strange, and I thought they deserved to be arrested, but I don't know why they were let out. You know, the loud women that I've seen in the plane from North Africa, they fought physically at the airport. They fought physically at the airport. Okay, so I took my plane back to Dubai. At Dubai, I had a bath, and I did my nails and my manicure because my feet were swollen. I needed to do something. So I had a massage and manicure and pedicure, because I was going to wait for many hours at the Dubai airport for the flight from Emirates flight from Dubai to Johannesburg. So I took it. It was not the first time that I'm taking Emirates. I'm taking Emirates all the time. On the way home, one man who was sitting next to me discriminated me by weight, and he was speaking Afrikaans. It was one of those racists from South Africa. He was saying both me and him. In fact, he was saying in Afrikaans, I'm no, I cannot sit next to him because I'm big. Oh my God, I'm not even too big. But he was becoming a racist. He was becoming discriminatory just because he's seeing a black person. I heard it and I dealt with it. That led me to being moved from that chair, because I wasn't gonna sit next to the racist. But I didn't want to pursue it and write a letter of racism, because we're both South Africans who were, fighting in the plane, because he was just being a piece of rubbish and a racist, and now he was doing it in the plane in South Africa. I'm coming from other countries and I haven't been treated badly, but I'm being treated badly in a plane from South Africa, from Dubai to South Africa. Then we arrived in Johannesburg in the morning. Then I had to go through customs. In the customs, they open your clothes one by one. They open your clothes one by one, and they want to check, they want you to pay at the customs and all of that. I went through that. Then after that, I took my plane from Johannesburg to East London. In the next video, when I'm sharing about my first flight, international flight experience, I'm going to tell you what happened when they confiscated my cosmetics. Anyway, thank you for listening. I hope you learned something from my experiences traveling from China, from South Africa to China, and I hope you are empowered. But the trip was not bad at all. It's not bad to go to China, and things are cheap if you do your homework. God bless you. Bye.